There are people who want someone to like listen to them, but not give criticism. And I don't think that's support. You know, I think we have to be okay with allowing others to help us in ways that are uncomfortable to us. Being okay with recognizing your flaws and being open and vulnerable with someone else, but allowing them to assess us and where we're at, and then taking that in. It's easy to have people to vent to and to just say, you know, I have girlfriends, we'll go out, we'll get dinner, whatever. But to have a productive relationship and a real support system, it has to go both ways.
Yeah.
You have to be able to give and receive, and to be able to change and to actually help cultivate each other. Welcome to the Strong by Choice podcast, where our purpose is to inspire women to be bold about their intentions and to take massive action working towards their goals in all areas of life. Hey guys, we're going to talk about getting out your own way. Now, this topic is really personal to me because I think that I'm a coach of everything. When I think about a word that defines myself, I think of it as coach, health coach, business coach. Really, like, I see the potential in everyone around me, which is a good and a bad thing, which is probably why I'm in therapy, because I see what I think everyone can do, and when they don't do it, it makes me real angry. But we had a really good session in my mastermind last week, her health and wealth mastermind, and it started off, we were talking about sales, and we went over what people felt they were uncomfortable with, and it always seems to go back to asking for money. What, you know, they think they have their business set up, they have all the fundamentals and all that stuff, but then it comes, you get leads, and then when you finally get a person in front of you, everything goes well until you get to the point where you're about to ask for that money.
Right.
And so we actually had a very emotional session. There was some crying that I was not ready for.
Susan's, yeah, I was ready for it.
Desiree was ready for it. I just kind of, yeah.
Susan doesn't do too well with, not that you don't do well with the emotions, but it's just not your thing.
I don't know how people want me to respond to emotions. I acknowledge that they're happening, but anyways, so the biggest issue that I see with women is, one, the whole imposter syndrome thing. They feel as if what they have is not valuable. And really, it's just us standing in our own way. So today's episode, I want to talk about just getting out your own way and understanding that what you do and what you offer is valuable, and that you have an audience for whatever you do, whatever you're passionate about. There's somebody out there who needs your help. A lot of us think that what we have is so unique that no one else, who would pay for that? Who would coach me? Or why would somebody want that? The same reason that you came up with that is the same reason why there's people out there who have gone through something similar, who feel the same way that you do, or going through whatever experience, and they're looking for someone like them who made it to that other side. So whatever you feel like it is that you're offering someone, whether that's a service, a coaching, whatever kind of package, like, you didn't just make it up and
it was an answer to a solution to whatever problem that was going on.
And that's what we talked about. So then going back, you know, people are afraid to ask for that money, but if you're providing value for someone, like, you need that money. And really, when you think about it more so as an exchange of value, you're creating a solution for someone. So when you're thinking about selling, what is this person going to get out of this interaction with you? And if you know that it's going to change their life, then you should have no problem asking them for this little bit of money.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
It's just like going to the store. You know, when you go to the store, you're going to pick up a certain item or a certain food. It's like, you know, I'm giving you this money because I know this is going to do this for me, and I'm going to get whatever it is that I'm looking for. So
and
it's
you'll pay more for a better product.
Yeah, you'll pay more for a better product. It's like getting, I don't know what's examples, getting an off-brand Nutri-Grain bar versus the real brand, the Kellogg's Nutri-Grain bar. Like, you can tell the difference.
Versus pesticide infested.
Yeah, that. So when well, go ahead. I'll let you touch on it, and I'll get on there later.
Or you can go. Where you about to go with that?
Well, I'm about to say, you know, one thing that I discovered over this past week was the whole getting out of my own way and letting the service speak to itself. You know,
yeah.
When we,
I feel like over the course of this podcast, a lot of people have been able to see your transformation, even just from understanding, who you are as a coach and the type of person that you can help, and now really understanding the value that you bring to people. I think there's been a few times this week where you were like, oh, like I did that. I helped them through that. And especially after yesterday, we had an event called A Better Balance. Desiree, what was it?
It was put life balance. Well, a modern day woman juggling life.
Right. And she talked a little bit about like being more assertive, and you could just see all the women in the room were all shaking their head in agreement. One person would say something like, yeah, I felt like that too. Yeah, like everyone can relate to that. And there's so many people out there who have these issues, who are going through these things, but one, don't recognize the problem, and then don't know what to do with it. And then when you're sitting in front of me, you see all these people, and you see just from this 30 minutes of you giving them advice, how much they've changed from that, how much better they feel. They walk out of there with that weight off their shoulders, and knowing, giving them permission to be assertive, or to whatever the case may be.
Know what they want.
Like, that's invaluable.
Yeah. And I don't know why for a long time I never really saw it being a big deal. And I guess because it's something I always had. And I remember when I was talking with them, and it was like we had got on the topic of relationships slightly, and it's like, okay, when you're with someone and they constantly, drain you and make you feel bad, that's not aligning to what you want. And you, have to figure out what it is that you do want. And like, whatever you're doing, like when you talk to someone, you want to be able to feel better about it. And I said, that's what I want for women to have. Like, you come here, I talk to you, I'm able to see your issues and your struggles, and I understand it. One, validates you, because as women, we don't think the way we feel or think makes sense. We think we're crazy. We think we're doing too much, and sometimes we are, and you need to get checked. But you want to feel that you want to feel like someone cares, and that
they get it.
They get it. And so once I just start, honing on that, because for a long time I trapped myself in thinking no one understood me. And honestly, when I was looking to other people to try to understand me, is because I didn't understand myself.
Right.
And I was looking for them to tell me who I was, what I wanted, what I should do, whatever, or just to make me feel like I had some kind of value, because it's a difference in finding that balance of accepting your gift and using it as a service, and then only trying to serve for validation. And I had got those things switched. When now I know, like, no, I can still be like this weird, quirky, super hyperactive lady, but I send out a powerful message to women to know that they are the and being able to break it down and meeting them where they are. I think that's the best thing I also know I have about myself, is like I feel like I can see the potential in people, but I also can meet them to where they are right now.
Right.
So it was I feel like I got off topic, but yeah, it was a nice thing.
Was on topic.
Oh.
See, and it comes back to this confidence in the relationship we have with ourselves, what we think we're worthy of, what we think we're capable of in our relationship with money.
And so, yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Right. So even though you have, I'm going to use you as an example because I always do, but you have this gift and you have this ability, you have this reach, you have people in front of you who need your help and who already trust you and want you. How long did it take before you were really in a place where you felt comfortable saying, I can help you, I provide value for you, now you provide value for me?
Are you asking me?
If you know the answer.
A
smooth year.
At
least. And you just think, I don't want to say luckily, like as if I'm like some gift or whatever, but like luckily, like I've been here to help you to realize that. But how many women out there are operating on their own and they don't have that friend, they don't have that coach to tell them that? How long do they keep themselves in that space?
And I'm glad that you said that, because I think that's where my gift comes in. That's where I want to help women. So you don't have to. I mean, whenever you go through something, everyone has their own healing process, but knowing that you don't have to stay there so long. Like I think we had stated to me earlier, and I said, do you think I really made a transformation? He was like, yeah, but how sometimes you go up and down and whatever. And I thought about that when I went to the bathroom, and I was like, but now I expect. not expecting like, oh my God, things are going to be super worse, but like these emotions are going to come along with that change and that transformation. Right. And it doesn't mean I have to stay there. That's the biggest thing we talked about in the previous podcast, but staying in a certain emotion and staying in a certain space and vibration and energy level where it's meant for you.
You should experience that emotion, but don't let it overtake you.
Yeah.
And all of your actions can't be dictated on how you feel in that moment by that one thing or one issue or whatever. You got to get out your own way.
You got to get out your own way.
Yeah. So I wish that more women would, one, acknowledge where they are. I think we talked about this even in like episode 2, but really understanding, you know, sometimes people think that they have a problem with marketing or that they're not getting the right people. They try to redo the processes over and over again when really it comes down to it's the issues you have with yourself and your inability to assess your value and express your value to others and then ask for value in return.
I'm about to say knowing what you want at the same time. It's acknowledging where you at and then also acknowledging and proclaiming what it is that you want and owning it and knowing that it's okay. Yeah.
Right. And that goes into it too. You know, I know with Better Bodies, I know that any woman that comes through here is going to have a transformation.
Yep.
Physical, mental, they're going to have a support system. They're going to come out of here a better person in general, loving themselves more, feeling more supported than if they didn't come through here.
Yep.
So I put a price on my programs, but I feel like it's worth so much more. So when a person comes to me for a consultation and I tell them what we're offering, I have no problem telling them the price of my program because I know that I'm helping them. I know the value in what I provide and what this space provides for them. So I don't falter. I know my price and it's not going down. But I think so many of us, we fail to realize, one, to really realize the impact we can have on other people. Especially in service.
Yeah.
Products are a little bit different, you know, but especially in like the health sector, really understanding the value of interacting with another person and being a lending ear for them and helping them to get through an issue. It's just so invaluable. And then the impact you can have by helping one person change and them in turn affecting so many other people, that ripple effect, there's so much value in that. But we really have to understand our value, understand our worth, and know that it's okay to ask for, especially if we don't come from money and aren't used to handling it, knowing that it's okay to ask for that money and knowing you deserve it.
Right. It is knowing you do. I'm glad you said that, because knowing that you deserve it and knowing, I think the biggest thing that helped me too was when I took a moment and I started to look around. You can always tell where you are mentally and emotionally by your environment. So at one point, I started to look around and look at my environment at home, environment at work, and just the different things I had come across. And I realized, I'm like, you know, I'm being put in these different spaces and places that I never thought that would ever go. And I'm surrounded by all these wonderful women and men who are tapping into their craft and who, in my eyes, are glorious. And I always feel like, you know, your outer world reflects your inner world and all this stuff. And I was like, so if I'm able to see all this, that means if I'm even in this space, that means that I'm already there.
Right.
So that means I'm missing out on something. There's something in me that still hasn't made that connection, that switch, that needs to go ahead and switch because I'm already here. I have these people telling me I'm great. So why not be great? It makes me feel good. And when that happened, I had to drop my excuses. And I had to realize that some of the things that I had that I felt were just so dear to my heart. And it was like, no, this is me. And you don't understand. I started to use them as my excuses.
Yeah.
And so
have you talked about the death thing here? The death of you?
Oh, yes. Let me go ahead deep into that. I think people like that one.
Yeah. I think it's a good analogy.
Yeah.
It's a good description of that real transformation you have to make. It really does feel like that.
When I had a moment, I felt angry, and I sat down here and someone was like, you need to cry. So I cried and I cried. I mean, I had like a ugly belly cry.
I didn't
and
see
I
it.
remember, no, I'll never let you enter that space when I'm like that. But
okay.
Anyway,
I don't want to be.
Yeah, you never want to be.
Okay.
Anyway, so And I had this realization. I was like, God, it feels like I'm dying. Whenever you're going through a transformation and you're going through a different transition in your life, so many things have to change and so many different things you have to let go of. And when you think of death is letting go. There's so much changes that happen after a death. And so it reminds me in the Bible when it says, you have to die to yourself daily. And I would read that a time ago, and it's like, sometimes when you read stuff in the Bible, you keep it real surface level. Right. You don't really understand like the underlying benefits of the underlying meaning behind it. But when you when you're ready to make a change, there's certain behaviors and patterns that you have to stop. And you can't, and you also not only have to stop, you have to make a decision where you're not going to teeter totter. You're not going to go back and forth between living and dying. You're either dead or you're alive.
All or nothing. All or nothing, basically.
In certain situations, some things you have to like kind of putter through, but some stuff when you're really ready to make that change, you have to do that. So, you get, when you know you're about to make this change and you're going to go through this transformation, you get depressed, you get anxious, you get confused, you get upset, you get angry. You want things to go back to where they used to be. You want things to be the same, the comfort and everything. But then I had to realize that if the new life that I said that I wanted, the stuff that I write down, the stuff that I visualize, the stuff I was telling people that I wanted or telling people I was doing, I had to live it. And what does that mean? What does that look like? And so I had to do different techniques and stuff to help me get comfortable to even knowing that one, I was worthy of it and that I could do it. So it was different things along the way that I've done to help me to get to this spot. I somewhat feel like I still did like overnight, but I know in my mind like this wasn't an overnight process.
The decision happened, but the steps leading up to that, they were cumulative.
Yes, exactly. So it's change is amazing. I feel wonderful. Yeah. And I want to continue to feel this wonder. And I know that I'm wise enough to know that things aren't always going to be rose colored. So now that I know that wisdom is like, now I can go through it without being so overwhelmed.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's kind of talk about that process of getting out your own way since we're here. And we touched on it a little bit, but one is really understanding what you want. Yeah. And I don't know why more people don't take this step first. We're out and we're doing all these things, all this busy work with no real goal in mind. And I think it's just trying to feel good about yourself. You fill your day with different activities. You read different books. You do podcasts and all stuff. But for what? What do you really want to achieve? What life are you trying to live? What value are you trying to give? What solution are you trying to provide? So if you don't know that, then
it's also because, I think people have been programmed in a certain extent of you go to work, you go to school, you have kids, you do whatever. So when you start making decisions, if that's already been your program of what life should be, no one is really telling you, unless you were coached or had some kind of system behind you to say, I see this gift in you. This is your gift. I seen this when you were a child, or I seen that this is what you're really interested in. You're not going to feel that passion or that gift up.
But I'm surprised more people don't move outside of that norm. I guess I've always hated there being restrictions on me, and no one could ever tell me what to do. But I'm so surprised at how many people can just go through life and just zombie walk through, go to work, go to school, have a family, and never even like feel really like zombie walk. You're just walking with no purpose. Yeah. You're just doing things. And when I think about my death, I want to be remembered for something. I want to know that I've impacted people. There's so many people who just die and they're just gone. They've left nothing here. They've touched no one. When their kids die, they're dead. Their memory is gone. And to me, that's just so sad because I honestly feel like everyone has the potential to do something great. I feel like everyone has a purpose. And that's not to say everyone is supposed to be something amazing in the spotlight. Not everyone's supposed to be an artist or a Division I athlete.
Even
or
defined,
you don't have to be some great leader. But even like with you, when you talked about like being the giver and like being the support system, I think there's so much value in those roles too. Even like starting a cleaning business, people look down on people who are in that kind of service, custodial, janitorial. Do you know how important it is, for someone? So let's say someone's running a company.
Janitor at my house.
Right. When you're able to give someone else that peace of mind and give them that time back, if they're spending all that time doing work and those 2 hours of housework gives them 2 hours to spend with their family, that's important.
And then it also goes into like not judging everyone so much, because I'm glad you tapped onto that, because some people might look down at that housekeeper or that janitor, but if I know like, look, this is my need, and you're coming in here and you're fulfilling my need, and I know like my house is going to look spick and span. I don't have to worry about coming home, washing dishes, like everything is good. I'm like, thank you so much, because you've given me, you start to look at money. Important. Yeah, you start to look at money and people differently, because it's like you're looking at, again, the service.
Right. Like, and that helps you to see the value of it. That people, they want to put these labels on things, and it's so important, again, to know, who you are, what you can do to help other people, and understanding the value of what you do, no matter what that looks like to you, whatever sector, whatever circle, whatever service you can provide. There's someone out there who needs it, and they will appreciate it.
Yeah.
And don't let anyone else's opinion talk you out of that.
Yeah.
So that first step is definitely, understanding what you want out of life, and understanding where your passion lies and who you want to help.
Right.
I think the answer to life is really always, who can you help?
Yeah.
I think in order to really feel value, we have to be of service to others and really impact others. And I know relationships is always the core when we talk about happiness and things like that. If you're just going through life and you're always thinking about yourself and money, and that's why we have the richest people in the world committing suicide. And if you really can't, if you lack that relationship and that love and that service to others, I don't think you can ever really feel fulfilled.
Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't, like you said, it doesn't even matter if you have a whole bunch of riches or you're super, super poor. It's the joy of life. It's the passion of life. It's the passion of the relationships that you build with other people. And if you don't have that with other people, and especially if you don't have that within yourself, which is the first relationship that you should have, that should be the most intact. Even with that being said, another step with, knowing what you want, accepting yourself for who you are. Like, we all have flaws.
Yeah.
I'm flawed. I don't really like the mechanics of a lot of stuff. I'm more of a, let me do this. And then you tell me and you put me here, and I'm like, all right, but you still let me create and whatnot. But I can still be structured, but I can be structured only with certain things. Certain stuff, I'm just not good at being structured with, whatever. But I accept that about myself. And then I make a decision like, okay, well, this thing that I'm not good at, do I want to improve on it? The answer is yes or no. If I say no, well, then you need to put something else in place so this can still be taken care of, because no matter what, this needs to be taken care of. Right. So when I accepted my flaws and not just beat myself up about it and not play victim to it, that also really helped for me to just be like cool with me. Like, okay, well, this is what it is.
Yeah, and that goes back to that confidence thing.
Yep.
You really have to be okay with who you are. And like you said, acknowledging what you are and are not good at, and then finding the solution to that. Whatever you're not good at, are you going to improve on it? Or are you going to hire someone to help you? How can you make that work for you? Because let's be real, like, there are traits about ourselves that we can't change.
Yeah.
We can always improve in something, but what your zone of genius is, that is what it is. You can be great at something and it still not be what provides and at the most value and that happiness and allows you to help other people. And at the very least, at least for that time period, because I think we're overall when I feel like when you're in a certain space in your life, that's just where you are, and there may come a time where it will change. But for right now, again, meeting yourself exactly where you are, and it's like there's no point of getting off topic. No, because that goes back into knowing where you're good at and then knowing how you can help others from that. So let's say you are whatever kind of coach, you know that you have one specific kind of person that you know that you can really help. So you're not going to sit here and try, if you're a relationship coach, you're not going to help them with nutrition. We have people who want to call themselves like general life coaches and they want to say they help with the whole package. But if you can't really help with the whole package, then you aren't confident in that. So then that's going to show up in the way that you talk about yourself and your program. So then again, you're not going to be able to sell anything because you know you're not worth it. So understand what you're really good at and find those people that you can really help and market to those people. And that value that you provide for them is going to be exponential if you focus on what you're good at. So
and I think that's the problem.
Your own way.
Yeah, and I think that's the problem with people. I think I said that earlier too. You know, you'll pick up on all the bad stuff. Like, this is what I'm really bad at. And so you'll stay in that space like, this is what I'm bad at, instead of saying, okay, well, I'm good at this.
I'm really good
and
at.
Again, that goes into self-worth too. Like, okay, I can only be bad. I'm not allowed. Allowance is a big one that's been coming to me for the past few weeks. You know, I'm not allowed to be great. I'm not allowed to want the things that I want. I'm not allowed to be at peace. I'm not allowed to be at rest. And so you have that limited prison-like system in your mind. Then the idea or the capacity to even know that you can be good or you are good at something seems foreign. And so negative thinking, stop it. Don't do negative thinking.
Yeah. And that goes back to affirmations and all that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
There's so many affirmations.
There are so many affirmations. But yeah, so knowing where you're at, knowing what you're good at, knowing what you're not good at, and then again, knowing that there are people out there
who are looking for it,
who are looking for it, who need you, and who are waiting for you to step out so that you can change them. When we focus on ourselves and our flaws and what we think is the reason why we can't do something, it's so selfish. Because when you finally step out into your craft, when you finally step out and can be of service to others, just think about all the people you can impact. And if you were to not do it, where would they be? What if you're that one person that's supposed to have that moment with them that changes their life? What if it's you and you being afraid because of whatever childhood insecurity? You don't want to be in front of a camera. You don't think you talk well. You don't think that what you have is valuable enough. So you hold yourself back. And then what about them?
Yeah.
God gave you the gift and you're afraid to use it because of whatever external factors. So now the hundreds, thousands, millions of people that you could impact, who in turn impact others and create a ripple effect in this world, what about them? And
I'm glad because I still go to my own therapy session. So if you're a coach or a healer, whatever it may be, never think like you can't go to someone else to pour. Never think you can't go to anyone else for them to pour into you.
Right.
Like that took a long time for me to feel like it was okay for me to seek out help and everything. But when I was talking with Kim Tree, she was like, you need to allow those people, like I allow them to come in, leave the people I'm supposed to help. I allow them to come in. And I don't know if I know as Susan, I told you about my dream a long time ago, or I don't know if I talked about it on here, but remember when I said I had this dream, I was on the little water roller coaster thing, and then there was all these people behind me. And I was scared to like do it, but then I finally jumped in. And for some reason, when you think of it like that, again, I'm going to keep saying being of service, it takes the fear out of it.
Right.
And then you know that it's not just about you.
Right.
And then you get to see like how we're all divinely connected. And especially when you're tapping into your service, you're tapping into your craft, you're tapping into your gifts and your talents, and you're able to give that to other people, then they're able to give back to you. And then you're able to give that. You start to make all these connections. You start to see all the healing that has now been able to be given, or just the extra help and support people. And I think people don't always, what am I trying to say? People love the fact that they have people who can support them, but they don't always know like how important it is to actually have that person there or have that team.
I don't think everyone understands what support looks like.
Yes,
also,
that too.
You know, there are people who want someone to like listen to them, but not give criticism, and I don't think that's support. You know, I think we have to be okay with allowing others to help us in ways that are uncomfortable to us. You know, so being okay with recognizing your flaws and being open and vulnerable with someone else, but allowing them to assess us and where we're at, and then taking that in. It's easy to have people to vent to and and to just say, you know, I have girlfriends, we'll go out, we'll get dinner, whatever. But to have a productive relationship and a real support system, it has to go both ways.
Yeah.
You have to be able to give and receive, and to be able to change and to actually help cultivate each other.
Yeah. And that's also just knowing your surroundings, knowing who you're operating with, because, you know, sometimes we want a whole package out of one person. And that really can cause like a lot of distress. So knowing where,
especially in like relationships,
yeah,
marriages.
Knowing where your person is and leave it at that, and knowing that you can go out to outside forces, outside spaces, and really get it, because then you end up getting mad at this person for not giving you this support, this kind of support.
No one person can be your everything.
Yeah. And then what were you saying? You said, was about critiques, knowing the difference, like venting and actually taking critiques. And that took a long time for me to get, like, it's not personal. You know, take the personal part out of it and just look at it for what it is. Because sometimes when you get so wrapped up in your emotions, or you're the type of person like me that likes to dive deep, I like to dive deep, whatever. You get too wrapped up in that. You need to like get back grounded. You need to like come back to reality. Like, yeah, I get that, but if you're trying to get out of it, this is what you need. You need both, because you do need that form of expression, because you don't want to ball it up too much, because then you'll get nowhere. But then you also need to know A, B, C, do it like
what's
this.
The action now?
This is the action.
We've felt it. We've experienced it. Now what do we do with it?
Like, okay. And then move in that moment. Don't wait too long, because if you wait too long, then you might fall back into that same destructive victimhood pattern behavior.
Right. This is a good one. And I don't know why this was on my heart. I encounter people every day, and I see so much potential in people. And it's so hard being me, because, and I think part of it is because the way that I've grown up, you know, I see my family. I have 4 brothers and my mom, and I see where I am versus, you know, the things that they're doing, and not to say that I'm better than any of them, but I know how smart they are, and I know we all came from the same environment. And to me, I'm thinking, why are any of you working for anybody else? I see you all have a craft, you all have a passion, you're all extremely smart, but you're all frustrated with your day-to-day life. You're going to work for X amount of hours, you're coming home, you're frustrated for whatever reason, and you have complete control where you could actually, you know, pour into yourself and your crafts and be your own boss and create your own life. And even with like the women that come through here, you know, I see the potential in everyone to take hold of your health, to take hold of your fitness, to take hold of whatever lifestyle you want to create. But so many people they teeter-totter between, I kind of want it, but I don't want to be uncomfortable. And then you see them just going through this cycle of depression, anxiety, and I hate my life. And they stay in it, and they waste their time for so long. And life is so short. You never know when you're going to go. So why keep putting yourself through that cycle? Why keep dealing with other people and living on someone else's schedule and basically building someone else's dreams, when you have the ability to build your own, to create your own, to live the life you want, if you would just get out of your own way.
Yeah.
And, you know, it sounds simple, but it really is. There are resources out there. There are people that want to help you, but you have to decide that you want to get there. And I think it's so frustrating to see so many people to just let their dreams go, and they give up on themselves when they have a support system who would want to help them. And I think that frustrates me more than anything, is the person who has the talent, who has a support team and still doesn't step out, because there's so many people who have done more with less. And for you to sit there and be a victim of whatever circumstances, whatever emotions that you're feeling, when you have every reason to flourish and to be great, that person frustrates me.
Yeah.
And I love what I do, but again, it's also a curse, because I really can't separate my emotions from this. I really feel like every person has the potential to be their best self. And whether they're a homeless person right now, whether they're in debt, whatever issues they may have, there's a way out if they would just commit to it. Decide what you want and then go after it. I really feel like when you decide on a goal, the universe moves out of your way. God helps you. Everything 100%. Falls into place. There will be ups and downs. There will be ebbs and flows, but that is just like anything else in life. But you have to decide you want it and get the fuck out your own way and stop being a
Yeah. I concur.
So do you have anything else you want to add? I think this is more so just like a pouring out of my heart and just
I think
things I've encountered over the past couple of weeks have been kind of building up, and then the mastermind, seeing these women and seeing their transformation.
I think that's like the great thing I think I like about the both of us is the fact you give when you stated that, you know, people they'll stay there, they'll stay in a certain place for years, and you just have to make that decision and everything right then and there. I feel like I'm like that background work of building that person up to get to that point. And so it's about honoring and acknowledging that in yourself. It's really about mixing the two. It's about being able to find that fine line and that balance where you're able to have both of it together.
Yeah.
And then once you can see the beauty, and the ugliness in both of them, I know for me, that's when I feel like I had my aha come to Jesus moment. Even though sometimes I feel like, damn, I wish I would have just cut all this. I think that's the reason why I like it, because we can now serve people like you don't have to go through all that bullshit.
Yeah.
But then they also it's weird because just knowing me, just know how I was, and if there's anybody else like that, and if there's anybody else in the world whose mind was where I am, like sometimes I'm afraid, like even with what I say, will they get it quicker than what I had to go through? Like, what I tell them, will they be able to make that good leap? Like, I guess it's like, you know how you said when you get frustrated as well, when you see all this potential, but then it's like they don't do anything. It's the same thing.
I mean, but I think it's a disservice to not try.
Big facts.
Even with the mastermind, there are women who have made more progress than others. I've said the same thing to them, but one person comes out of this with their business already running. We have people, they've made progress, but everyone, they get something out of it. And they're still going to be further than if you didn't say it to them. If you're worried about their feelings, will they get this? They're going to get it today.
Big facts.
Whether they act on it, it's not your responsibility.
Yeah.
If you give them the tools and motivation and everything that they need and they choose not to act on it, that's not your problem.
Gotcha.
But if you hold it in and you make the decision in your head, well, will it help them? Is it really valuable?
Then you'll never move.
You.
Yeah.
That's your responsibility. And that's you
building your confidence.
Right.
Getting over yourself, presenting the service.
Right. You have to be confident in things that you're saying and know that it has value, know that it can affect someone, but they may not act on it. That's just on them. But you have to know no matter what you're saying makes sense and it needs to be said.
Gotcha.
And that's big facts.
Bigger facts.
Yeah. So yeah, I hope that, I think this is for somebody specifically today. I don't know. You were supposed to hear this. So get out of your own way. Know what you really want. Don't be afraid to go after it. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to acknowledge your shortcomings or whatever you feel like is your downfall. Know what you're good at, play into that, and surround yourself with people who will help you get to where you want to go.
Bigger facts.
So yeah, y'all, just get out your own way. And if you don't, I'm coming for you and I'll help you.
Me too. Thanks, guys.
That's it for today.
Don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, and share on Facebook at Strong by Choice, and also on Instagram at Strong_by Choice.